Meanwhile, social distancing protocols flouted by applicants across many of the centers.
As you can see, we are many here, and they are talking about social distance. How do we distance ourselves? Is it on the street or at where?
Also coming up, Ghana Health Service warns of dire consequences for the country following the breach of COVID-19 safety protocols at voter registration centers.
There were some that were doing proper social distancing. You can see the 1 meter apart, but there were parts that were also clustered. So before the events, that people must respect the social distancing and keep themselves separated, and everybody must wear their masks.
Still in the news, we'll bring you the chilling story of the gruesome murder of 3 High Court judges and a retired army officer some 38 years ago as the legal fraternity marks its anniversary.
And later on, Citi FM and Citi TV end their special COVID-19 analysis program.
There will definitely be COVID stories to do. In our news, there will be COVID stories on Point of View, TV, face-to-face, and on CNR. There will always be COVID stories. So we're basically weaving COVID into our regular programming now.
Now let's bring you the details of our stories. The Ghana Health Service has warned of dire consequences should prospective applicants breach COVID-19 safety protocols at voter registration centers.
Now, the Director General of the service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, who observed the worrying trend of disregard of such protocols, raised concerns.
Well, he asked applicants with the voter ID cards to strictly adhere to COVID-19 safety protocols at voter registration centers. Let's get more in this report.
Ghana Health Service is demanding that applicants of the new voter ID adhere to COVID-19 safety protocols. Speaking at Tuesday's Minister's press briefing on COVID-19, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Patrick Kumabwaje, said that disregard for COVID-19 safety measures may have far-reaching consequences.
We are taking advantage of the period also to provide a lot of information at the centers. Of all the centers, I believe that people 18 and above are all going to be there, and we're taking advantage the next 6 weeks to provide a lot of education to people about COVID and other health issues. So that's what the health workers will do. We appeal. This morning on my way, I saw 3 queues before the registration had started. There were some that were doing proper social distancing. You can see the 1 meter apart, but there were parts that were also clustered. So before the events, that people must respect the social distancing and keep themselves separated, and everybody must wear their masks, because the most important thing for we are doing as part of our episode is to ensure that we have a reduction in the spread, both with prevention and not only responding to the cases. So mask wearing should be done. EC has sanitizers and Veronica buckets to ensure that cleaning is done. All we are clean and all must comply and ensure that this thing becomes smooth and reduce any effort to cause anything that will lead to increased infection because of the exercise.
Ghana has recorded 390 new COVID-19 cases, pushing the country's case count to 17,741 cases. The recoveries stand at 13,269, with 4,361 active cases. The death toll is 112, with 24 severe conditions and 4 on ventilators. The Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, given the regional breakdown of the number of cases, advised the general public to report cases without delay.
Most of these deaths are coming from people who report quite late, and about 60% plus die within 48 hours, and more than almost 40% die on the first day. So we continue to appeal that people should report early. If you are positive, report and start being monitored, so that as we develop symptoms, we are able to quickly control it.
This is one of the registration centers in the Ashie-Duketeke district within the Ododo-Diodio constituency. In your short 2 queues. Now the one on my right is for the elderly. The one on my left, those below 60 years. Now the registrants here are frustrated. For the elderly, some of them said they've been here as early as 4 a.m. and it's almost 1 p.m. and no one is telling them why the exercise hasn't started. Now, on my left are those below the age of 60. We'll try and find out what their peculiar challenges are. But one of the issues officials here are confronted with is the fact that most of them are not observing the social distance protocol. And some of them too are not wearing their masks. We'll try and speak to some of them now and then find out what their peculiar issues are. Time now, ba.
I'm back at 5 o'clock.
I don't know about Antemsa.
Abani here, Mintia. Card and so hear me. Tina, Mammy Bahantam. I have a Japan, so sir. I do my almost starting. To me, who are the current almost starting.
Bianca, Sherman, into almost starting.
Paper chai. And ye Janasa, and I can't almost see a salano, and the Asa. Tia Henny, of course, see a bay man, you say in your menu. You're ready, Yami.
Now the passports in the bar has over registered, and now the Ghana card.
The Ghana card.
Let's speak to another registrant. She has a concern. Why are you not observing the social distancing protocol?
Oh, social distancing. I mean, say, coronavirus about. So the way to tell us society. And colonial can be more. It can be, you know, because I'm the tell where Cramania, worms, but the tell where Mania. It is about social distance. Shadia Tasuye. I didn't so much. I said, about 2 minutes. Oh, say I live on some charge. And see a pair of Pamotoman and Tantam coffee and you could. Someone and Tamilian Sankosha more fear. I had your affair, I had them, Tony and Tanya Juma.
The delay, as we are being told by the NPP constituency chairman, is partly due to some disagreements or misunderstanding over the number of registration centers expected to be used for the exercise in this district.
We realize that the Electoral Commission is using centers different from the gazetted ones. Yesterday, my people pushed at the DIPAC meeting that the gazetted one should be used. But I think it was not agreed. So we petitioned the UC chairperson and all the stakeholders involved. And this morning, the UC officer called for a meeting, which the UC is the security agency were also there, and the various political parties within the constituency. And we have all agreed that if something has been gazetted, it has become law. So you can't do contrary to something that is law. So even if the UC is having a challenge and it's not going to open all the 38 centers gazetted in the first place, then it should select the 90 that it's going to do from the gazetted ones and go and start. So that is the conclusion that we take. So now they've agreed and they've mentioned the 19 that they are going to do this morning from the gazetted one. And I think that is enough for us.
For some of the people who've come here to register, the issue is not the fact that officials have delayed the registration exercise. For some of them, they will not be able to participate in today's registration exercise. They are being told to come on Thursday to have this done. They'll be speaking to us to tell us what they make of this arrangement.
Papa you are going to make so now, remember? They what tola me jeshe wa jeshe wa mo wa batrash e akawa ya ni so do ba mi de wo Ghana no this one ide wo kaja manke ni eboko ye 3 o'clock 4 o'clock neighbor agbena akawa ya shi mi de wo what touch ahun actually 1 o'clock ne dan wa ya shi mbabi at 3:15 Mbanya koni ketelebi up to now at 1 o'clock aka 1 o'clock aka ya ni so dan mba ko Miss Waka Mafia ID card. Ghana. Every day, I vote. Every year, my vote. Ejaka ya Ghana Shiponeno. Miss Makama vote. Igbayo no papa. In till 3 o'clock. In Wardron. Ninkabatabi. Up to now, Yakoni.
Kafia Hamia Yamana Yawa. The man was staging here. Man was staging. I got the thing. James Town, be and vote to a shallow, be and vote to a. Be and vote to a. Oh, no. I found the James Town in. Oh, yeah. There is him, but there is him off a. Yeah, Kafia Hamu, there is him of Hamoko. Kafia Hawa, there is him of Hago Ghana. Jamoko Pelano, Hamika beer, Metcha Peganya beer from here. She ain't choco. If you are so, if you are a beer. But there tomorrow, forming. Market 4 in Tashi. Namuka cannot pass your beer. She can't hear your fame. She can't hear your fame more in Tashi.
One of the challenges officials here are faced with is that the registrants coming in here are not observing the social distancing protocol. So the policemen are getting them to do that. In your short, one of the policemen there pushing some of the registrants away to ensure that there is space. Even though the registration exercise is yet to start, officials here have put in place the necessary safety measures to ensure that registrants are protected as much as possible. There's a Veronica bucket there where you can wash your hands. There are health officials here who will be taking the temperature of the registrant. You also have security personnel there in your short who will be ensuring that nothing untoward happens here. The exercise is yet to start here. We don't understand why it hasn't started hours after the center was opened. In your shot, you have officials waiting to be deployed to the other registration centers. The bags in here contain the registration materials yet to be deployed to the other registration centers. Officials getting ready to deploy the materials to the other registration centers in this district.
Bring our machines, bring the machines. Yeah, car. All right, so bring this one. The machine. Go far, climb. Asa, one. No. Go to the station. Only one person can remain. The rest go to the station. Go to the place. We have to put equipment inside. Walk. We can walk to the place. Before the traffic light. Right? To your right side. That's it. So you go. You meet them there.
The deployments of registration materials ongoing. In your short, another car moving out of the premises to one of the registration centers. After several hours of delay, the registration exercise is about to start. But before the registrants come in, this will be their first point of call. They would have to have their temperature taken before they can proceed there and take and wash their hands. It's 12:37 and one person has started the exercise. We know that it should take approximately 10 minutes for you to go through the process and get your ID card issued to you. We'll try and speak to the first registrant to tell us how the whole process was. After several hours of waiting, Mr. Mohammed Nyako has been able to go through the exercise. We'll be speaking to him to find out how he feels, being the first person to be issued a card. Katrin, how you feel going through this exercise? Tell us about the experience.
So be correct. Min chekra na misa akan me card.
What you know you see in Krata ben out the buy out the register out passports na buy na out Ghana card.
Eko kas necessary eko kas Ghana card no do na me di ba.
This is the Jamestown Mancha Palace, one of the registration centers in the Ashiedu Keteke district. On the compound itself, authorities are doing everything they can to ensure that the social distancing protocol is observed. But the same thing cannot be said for what is happening outside now. Outside there, most of the registrants are not observing the social distancing protocol. So just like what we saw at the Citi Engineers Registration Center, we're also learning that the exercise does not start early at this place. One of the registrants, now he's gone through the exercise successfully. He has his card now. Is done with the registration exercise. He's going to guarantee for his grandmother. You can see his grandmother seated there, waiting to go through the process. The EC officials taking the details of the guarantor. It is only after this is done that Robert's grandmother can proceed with the rest of the registration exercise.
Yeah, okay. Johnny na ka tuoni, Johnny fite. Ne awo che bia ni pa ko e shewo. Na na twa pita ni afi.
This is the Kolebu Police Station Registration Center in the Ablikoma South constituency. Let's speak to the medical personnel on the ground to find out if they've had to at all 10 people away because their temperature was too high.
So our normal temperatures are usually range between 36.5 to 37.5. So anything above 37.5 is termed a high temperature. But today as we came, we had up till 39.3, 39.9, and these people even have other symptoms like cough, headache. Initially when you start asking the questions, some are very smart, they try to maneuver their way, but as you continue investigating, you realize they have other symptoms. They have headaches, they have the cough, they have the cold. So we are picking very high temperatures today. We've had over 20 people. Yes.
So for those you isolated, were they allowed to register, go through the registration process?
Yes. After some time, they were allowed to. When we spoke to our bosses, they were attended to. Some, after an hour or so, you realize their temperatures dropped. So we gave them the opportunity. There was one particular man that his temperature was so high, even with time it was rather increasing, but we still gave him the opportunity. He just had to distance himself a little. So for him, the team has taken it up and they are going to follow up on him, especially for him, especially, they are going to take it up.
So this is the Sabulu Park Registration Center in Ayawaso North constituency, and as you can see, behind me, people packed on chairs, ready to take part in this nationwide voter registration exercise. Over 33,000 polling centers, 44,000 EC officials, about 8,000, biometric voter registration devices deployed. And even though the EC, promised to, observe a number of, protocols like the social distancing protocols, provision of, hand sanitizers, as well as what to call, soaps and water and all of that, we on the ground are not really seeing, that implementation, especially when it comes to social distancing, as a lot of people are sitting together, they're not wearing their masks. I'm going to go in there and speak to the EC official here. Now, can you describe what the process has been so far? Were you able to start on time? What time did you start? And how many people have you?
Okay. Trust me, we were able to start on time. All the materials were ready on time, so we started on time. But so far, we've registered about 36 members. Yes.
Only 36 people since you started around 7 o'clock?
Yes, please, only 36 people.
Wow.
Yes.
Which means that you have over hundreds and hundreds of people here. It might take a while.
Yes. I think today being the first day, I think with time we will catch up and the speed will come. Exactly.
One key thing I observe is that a lot of people are sitting together, social distancing not being adhered to. Why is that? Aren't you able to ensure that what the EC boss said is being adhered to?
Exactly. We're doing that, but they are humans. One way or the other, they flout the rules. But we still talk to them. We've been telling them, but we don't know. But the policeman is here too, so I will talk to him and he makes sure they abide by the rules, the social distancing and the other stuff. Yeah.
Okay, now a quick one. You find that only 36 people. It's currently about 10 a.m. plus. That's 3 hours after you start, and you've only registered 36 individuals, which means that you're not. An individual is spending more than 30 minutes or so here.
It's less than 30 minutes. I timed the first person. It took like 25 minutes. So with the printer, but we've got the technician. He's around to.
It's having what?
Problem with the printer, but they've spoken to the technician. He's around. So as I said, it's a new machine, so we'll be having this kind of. So
now you say you've called a technician. So until the technician comes, this machine will not work.
We also try our hands on it till he comes. Okay. Thank you.
All right, cool. So there you have it. The EC official leader here essentially explaining that one of the machines is actually having an issue. They've called a technician, which means that until the technician, arrives, then that machine would, possibly not, serve the people who are here, leading to a further delay in the entire process. If you come to this particular center where I am, Kanda GNTC, you do indeed find a lot of people wearing their face masks, a lot of people being enthusiastic about the process. And so far, as I speak to you, we hear that about 15 or 14 or so people have already registered and have gotten their cards. One of the primary issues that you normally identify or witness at a polling center, the issue of queue management, people stepping into queues when they don't really belong in that queue, and causing problems for officials or people who will move out and then come back at a later time, and then there will be a disagreement with other persons who are in the queue. You're currently observing a similar incidents. And it appears that the officials are not putting their foot down to ensure that individuals stay in the line. So, according to the EC chair, Jin Mensah, essentially there will be a number of protocols put in place to ensure that Ghanaians who visit the polling station or the polling centers are safe. One of them being the fact that some level of social distancing will be observed, at least 1 meter. And you just saw in your shot lines that have been drawn on the ground to signify where people should stand. But as we can see, indeed, more than one. Sometimes you have more persons standing in the queue. Sometimes also you have no one actually in the queue. In addition to that, they say they will provide some Veronica buckets, some soap. They will also make sure they use thermometer guns to check the temperature of individuals. And we've seen all of that. But the main issue here right now is the fact that there really isn't much social distancing, and for a lot of people the process is too slow since they've been here for a number of hours. Some as far back as 5 a.m. I have here with me a gentleman who's been here, and he's going to share with me his experience so far and why he has still not, gotten his voter ID. So, how have you seen the process so far?
The process is too slow. The process is slow. The line is not moving at all. The line is not moving. They need to speed up things a little bit so that we can go to our various homes to rest. Because some of us, we just came back from work to come and do our card, and then the line is not moving. So as I'm standing here, I'm feeling slippery. I'm feeling sleepy.
Okay, you worked in the evening?
Yes. I went for night duty yesterday.
What do you do?
I am an officer. I'm a security officer.
Great. So, what time did you get here? And
I got here around 6 there, and yeah.
Because according to the EC, if all things are observed, people are supposed to spend at least 10 minutes, here. But you are saying you've spent over 3 hours here?
Yeah. Some of us have spent more than an hour, 2 hours, and getting to 3 hours. So they need to, put things in order. Yeah.
But what exactly, can they do? Because it appears that in order to ensure that you are safe, they need to check everybody's temperature. People need to wash their hands, and that appears to be slowing the process down.
That's why they have to, get more polling stations. You see, they have to get more polling stations so that some people can also go to that polling station, so that we will not be overcrowded at a particular polling station. Yeah. As you can see, we are many here, and they are talking about social distance. How do we distance ourselves? Is it on the street or at where?
I'm going to speak to one of the ladies who has actually registered to find out what the process was like for her, and possibly get a look at the new voters ID. Where's your mask?
Oh, wow. It's in my bag. I have it. Yeah, I have it.
Well, so I hear you have successfully, registered. One of the few Ghanaians who's actually managed to, get a new voter's ID. How do you feel about it?
I'm really happy. I'm so happy.
But why are you happy? It's just a voter's ID.
Yes, have the power to vote.
I like that.
Yeah. So I'm happy.
I like that.
Yeah.
Nice. So, tell me, what time did you get here? What was the process like for you? Just share the experience with us.
Yeah, I was here around 5:30. Yeah, 5:30. Okay. So I'm the third person to register. Okay. Yeah.
So how was it? You got here. What exactly happened? Walk us through.
Oh, okay. When I came, nobody was here. I was the only person to be here. So I waited for 30 minutes before some people came.
So you got in here. What proof of identity did you show?
Yeah, came with a passport.
The EC essentially mentioning that all things being equal, they expect people who come here to spend just a little over 10 minutes or about 10 minutes to go through the process. How long did it take you to go through the process?
Really? I spent almost 15 minutes. 15 minutes, yeah.
Not bad, eh? So from security men holding thermometer guns to no face mask, no entry signs, as well as Veronica buckets for the purpose of hand washing. We are currently in front of the Mensa Sabah Hall Registration Center in the Ayawaso West Wogun constituency. Now outside you have individuals queuing to enter the facility. Now when they do enter, it's actually a wider compound, bigger compound, and you would actually get to see two sets of centers with some individuals queuing while others are actually seated in an orderly manner on chairs provided by the Electoral Commission. Now all these individuals, some of whom say they've been here for more than 2 hours or so, are all waiting patiently to take part in the registration exercise, which will eventually lead to them acquiring their very own voter ID cards. I mean, from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. thereabout, or 12:30 p.m. thereabout, well, only 40 individuals have got the chance to actually register and receive their cards here. Now, 40 on this side of the Sabah Hall, and then 40 on the other side of Sabah Hall. Now, some persons who have been here since 7:30 a.m., that's close to about 5 hours or so, believe that the process has been a bit slow and are unhappy. I'm here with one of them. I just want to speak to him. Senior, what's your name and what do you do?
My name is Divine. I work at 37 Military Hospital.
Okay, great. So, for you believe the process has been too slow for your liking?
Yes, please.
Talk to me about your experience today.
Okay, I got here around 7 a.m. and I spent almost 2 hours outside. Up to now, before we entered, I spent almost 2 hours. And since we entered around 9, and up to now we are still in the queue. We've not gotten to our thing yet.
And what are the officials telling you, if they've told you anything?
No one has come to address us. So, but I think it's moving. It's getting better.
Why initially were there any issues? Were there any issues with regards to their preparation? What did you observe?
Okay, when we were outside, I overheard so many chantings in the hall. They were shouting in the hall. I didn't know what was going on. So that was the only thing I saw.
But since you entered, you were given access to the Sabah Hall. You spent how many hours there?
That was from 9 to 12. So I think about close to 3 hours.
I'm here with another lady. How are you, madam? How are you doing? Now, how long have you been here, and how do you find the process so far?
I came here at 7, and I'm still here. I think the process very slow, because it got to a time the machine wasn't even working properly. Yeah, and I heard someone saying today is a testing period.
Who said it?
It was just something that was in the air, and I'm like, what's going on? But anyways, so far so good. At least I'm in the phone queue now, so I'm definitely gonna do it.
I mean, you're back there earlier.
Yeah. I came here at 7, and it's 12:28, and I'm still here. I've not even done mine. The process really slow. I think they should deploy more people and more machines, because if there were 2 people here writing the names, then the rest of the names are going to be very fast. And there's only 1 machine here. If there were 2 machines, then 2 people can go at a time. But now we have to wait for the machine to be done with 1 person before then we move. So even after joining the queue here, you still have to go join another queue there. That's very stressful on my part and everybody's part.
You're watching the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. My name is Paola Kanya-Ofuri.
And my name is Bobie Osei.
When we return, we'll take you to other regions across the country and bring you more on the voter registration exercise.
Well, do stay with us on the Citi Newsroom.
Extra data, extra minutes, and extra unlimited calls. Not just that, even our extra data doesn't expire. See the film? Simply dial *111# to bundle now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
$76,000 only to buy you a studio apartment in Accra. Why not come to Wadi for a spacious 2-bedroom apartment at Alphabet City, our brand new gated community situated right on top of the serene Sakomando Lagoon. Feeling like splashing a little? Check out our exclusive all-detached house gated community, the Jaden Symphonic next door. Sizes range from cozy 3 bedrooms to luxurious 5 bedrooms. We at Waleed are committed to provide you with the best building quality and value for money. In fact, we are the proud recipient of 2019's Quality Property Firm Award. We are offering discount up to 5% on the Jaden Symphony or 10% on Alphabet City, who makes a commitment in December. Call us now at 0240-111119 or 0504-499999 to secure your dream home now.
Shop online, get free swipes, and enjoy greater security with a card that turns banking on its head. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
And you're welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. Let's take you to the northern region, where the voter registration exercise took off in 202 selected centres there. Now, Citi News' northern regional correspondent Maxwell Sook reports that despite the smooth takeoff, the violation of safety protocols remains a concern.
In the northern region, not all centres are registering simultaneously, as explained by the Northern Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Lucas Yeriel.
We are starting the first phase batch 1, 202 centers. But on the second, we will start the district registration. And then subsequently, we'll do what we call the mobile registration. That will help to clear centers that have a long queue and congested centers.
Checks by Citi News at some of the registration centers observed most officials are overwhelmed by delays in starting the exercise, as well as general non-compliance with the COVID protocols. The challenges were not limited to one center in the northern region. The Sakasaka Police Station Center had its share of challenges, according to the registration officer at the center.
We have some inconsistencies with our machine. We are trying to rectify that.
From breakdown of equipment to lack of speed in processing of registrants, it was a frustrating process for persons like Bajori Felicia, who turned out as early as 6 a.m. to register, but had failed to do so as at midday.
When we queue, the line wasn't going. Sometimes it will be, they will be filling the form, and sometimes too they will break. The machine is down.
The common feature that manifested in all centers has been the gross violations of the safety protocols. Police had to be called in to ensure compliance at some of the centers. Bismarck Inter, Tamale Metropolitan Officer of the Electoral Commission, however, admits the lack of compliance to the protocols puts the lives of many of the officials at risk.
Our major challenge is the people throwing the
social distance protocol. That was a big challenge for us, but we are doing our best to get them. I've been told that the security have been discharged to the various centers, and they will help us to get them in order.
Now, applicants who turn up for the Electoral Commission's new voters registration exercise in the Wa municipality of the Upper West region have expressed mixed reactions over the process. Now, whereas some said they were satisfied with the process, others complained that it was fraught with undue delays, contrary to the advertised duration of 10 minutes as stated by the EC. Citi News' Latif Mahama monitored the registration exercise in the area and has come through with this report.
The new voters registration exercise in the Upper West region commenced at 120 registration centers. In the Wa municipality, the exercise started in 19 registration centers. Citi News checks indicate that all the centers commenced registration at about 7 a.m. without any hindrance. The turnout in most centers Citi News visited was high. At the Nairi High Court Registration Center, applicants were in long queues even before the start of registration, with some defying the COVID-19 social distancing protocols. A few of them were, however, in nose masks. At least 2 security persons and 2 health staff were seen in all the registration centers with hand-washing facilities. Some of the applicants spoke to Citi News.
Generally, the exercise is very peacefully. It's moving on very well, except for social distancing, which is a bit relaxed. What I've also observed is that the battery life, we are fortunate to be in a town where we are closer to electricity. If not for that, as at one, the battery is more than 50% down.
The machines are very slowly. Right from morning up to now, there are only 20 people that are registered. And the facial expression for some of the people, especially the old, they are not forthcoming. The fingerprints are not taken.
A few applicants whose faces and fingerprints could not be captured were turned away.
For now, we can't do otherwise. We will only refer them to the EC of the district director. And that is what they said, they will take care of such people at the office.
Now from the Upper West region, let's return to the Greater Accra region, because at Ashaman in Accra, applicants complained about the slow start of the exercise as they blamed the incident on the deployment of a few BVR kits to the center.
As early as 3 a.m., prospective applicants had gathered at the various centers in Ashaiman in readiness of the voter registration exercise. The exercise, which started on time at some centers, suffered a few setbacks at other centers in the constituency. Gun thermometers at almost all the centers Citi News visited had challenges ranging from defective or weak batteries to the inability of some health officials to operate the devices. Social distancing protocols were also non-existent at most of these centers. The non-wearing of nose masks were also an issue, as some officers whose responsibility was to ensure compliance were seen defying the directive. Some unhappy residents who had queued for long hours spoke to Citi News.
The system is very slow. My observation, what I saw was that these machines are not new machines. They are old machines that the EC is using again. And they claim they were going to register 100 people per day. But from what the indications we are having now, I'm sure they are only going to register just about 30 or even 40 a day.
No smarts. Some people, if they were, they put down for the beer under. Or some to they come, the nose mask no, they bring about they don't use some.
To some of the applicants who had been waiting for long hours in long winding queues, they said the number of verification machines deployed to the constituency was inadequate considering the population in Ashaiman. But for the quick intervention of the assembly member for the Obakacha electoral area, Seth Oklu, the exercise would not have taken place at the Roman Catholic Registration Center at Ashaiman Roman Down. This is because the EC allegedly failed to communicate their intention to use the church premises to the church administration. According to the Assembly member, this resulted in some delays at the center. The Member of Parliament for the Ashaiman constituency, Ernest Henry Nogbe, who was among the few lucky ones to get their voter ID cards, spoke to Citi News about his observation.
In terms of observing the protocols, I'm not sure they put enough measures in place to do so.
Now, still staying on the voters' registration exercise, a meeting between officials of the Electoral Commission and leadership of the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party in Asawasi constituency over a disagreement on the siting of a registration centre ended inconclusively. And while the NDC insisted the centre had been wrongly cited, the NPP, on the other hand, disagreed. Now, Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani monitored developments in the area and comes through with this report.
Even before the voters' registration exercise officially commenced on Tuesday, the Member of Parliament for Asawasi, Muntaka Mubarak, alleged the MPP was planning to buzz people from other constituencies to register in his constituency. The municipal chief executive for Asokore Mampong, Ali Dusedu, however, downplayed this claim.
There is no tension. You see, most of the noise we hear on the flanks are pedestrian talks. Here you are. What did you see? The process is moving on well. But you see, that is the strategy of my opponent. But the MP has said that he always throw stones on the fence just to create a certain impression that there is tension within, so as to scare people away. But I'm assuring them, nothing will stop anybody from registering.
Just as the exercise was ongoing, members of the NDC in the constituency, led by the Member of Parliament for Asawasi, protested the siting of a centre at Asebi.
It's a new police station. By law, you are supposed to notify the political party 21 days before the start of the station. That has not been done. Only this morning for us to see that a station has been placed here. That is very unfortunate. Now we are insisting, let's relocate.
Alhaji Sedu of the MPP insisted the centre would not be relocated.
The fact of the matter is that polling stations everywhere are either in front of somebody's property, somebody's business area, or somebody's house. Throughout the 186 police stations throughout Asawasi constituency, there is no police station on the sea. There is no police station on either in the sky or on a tree.
There was a heavy deployment of armed police officers to avert a possible clash between the two parties. The owner of the house, who is also constituency ward chairman for the MPP, explained why the premises of his residence was chosen as a registration center.
Amen asked permission from me that they wanted to use here as a polling station. So if I will accept it, then I say okay, I will accept it and give them go ahead to come and do everything here as a registration, everything. So they try to name it as a polling station. Adom police station.
A meeting between the EC and leadership of both parties, however, ended inconclusive. Meanwhile, the process was generally smooth at other centers in Kumasi, except that there was the disregard for social distancing at most of these centers.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom right here on Citi TV. We're taking a breather here. When we return, we'll bring you the chilling story of the gruesome murder of 3 High Court judges and a retired Army officer some 38 years ago as the legal fraternity marks its anniversary.
And you won't want to miss that story.
Order the Huawei Nova 7i before 2nd July 2020 to enjoy a free Huawei Band 4, gift box and Bluetooth headset, plus a Huawei VIP card. Terms and conditions apply.
This one is for all the children. If you want to learn mathematics.
I need your siblings to go online instead, but I've used up all our internet data for the month.
Get them Asanka.
This?
No. Asanka is a Wi-Fi device that delivers preloaded educational content for KG, primary, JHS, and SHS without the use of the internet and without the use of other data costs. You can order online and have it delivered to your homes, and also, one Asanka can support up to 20 plus devices.
And you don't need the internet?
No.
Wow.
We succeed with Asanka.
For more information and to purchase, please visit myasanka.com or call 026 57 33 200.
You're welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. Now, the Ghana Bar and Bench has commemorated one of the darkest events in Ghana's history, the gruesome murder of 3 High Court judges and a retired army officer some 38 years ago.
Now, the public servants, Justices Cecilia Afran-Korantin-Addo, Frederick Puku-Sarkodie and Kweju Ejepon, as well as a retired army officer, Major Sam Akwa, were abducted from their homes on the 30th of June 1982. Under the cover of darkness and shot to death at the Bundasi military range in Accra Plains.
Now, as the judiciary commemorates this day, court correspondent Sixtus Dong Udo takes a brief look at the events from 1982 in the following report.
It was a Wednesday night. Uneasiness filled the atmosphere in Ghana's capital of Accra as soldiers patrolled the streets enforcing a curfew imposed by the military junta of the Provisional National Defense Council, PNDC, headed by Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. Chairman Rawlings, as he was affectionately called, toppled the Third Republican government on 31st December 1981. He suspended the 1979 Constitution through the promulgation of PNDC Law 42, ousted President Dr. Hilary Mann, banned political parties and initiated what he termed the People's Tribunals to coexist with the courts. Flight Lieutenant Rawlings waged what he called holy war against corruption in public life and got the ordinary citizen involved in the infrastructural development of the country on the philosophy that he was giving power back to the people who it really belonged to. But there were excesses, brutalities, seizures of properties and murders among other illegalities. The judges and retired army officer were among those who paid the ultimate price. The public officers, Justices Fred Puku-Sarkodie, Mrs. Cecilia Afran-Korantin-Addo, Kweju Ejepon, all of the High Court, and Major retired Sam Akwa were rounded up from their homes at night by personnel who were then unidentifiable, taken to Bundasi military range at Accra Plains and shot dead. At the time of their abduction, Her Ladyship Cecilia Afran-Korantin-Addo was a nursing mother. Their bodies were then soaked in petrol and burned. Their charred, decomposing bodies were later found miles away from the capital. The ensuing public outrage compelled the Chairman Rawlings's PNDC, which said it was itself horrified by the killings, to set up a special investigations body chaired by Justice Samuel Azukrap of blessed memory to investigate the gruesome killings. Though it remains unclear the official reasons for their murder, it is said that the judges and retired army officer were corrupt and biased in the discharge of their duties. They were accused of targeting members of the defunct Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, another military junta led by Mr. Rawlings just before the inception of the Third Republic. The Special Investigations Body interdicted 10 persons, including then National Security Advisor to Chairman Rawlings, Captain Kojo Chikata, and Sergeant Daniel Akatapori. Captain Kojo Chikata was named in the investigative report as a co-conspirator in the murders, but left off the hook on grounds that he could not have succeeded in the killings if there was no higher authorization from a higher authority. Corporal Amedeka, one of the indicted, is also reported to have given testimony to fellow prison inmates that Captain Kojo Chikata gave him a written authority note to carry out the heinous act. When pressed for the said note, however, he said he had torn it before his incarceration. The question of which higher authority gave the order for the abduction and murder of the 4 public officers thus remains unanswered till date. Some of the indicted persons, like Sergeant Akatapori, have pointed accusing fingers at Chairman Rawlings, but Mr. Rawlings has denied any involvement in the act. 5 of the 10 indicted persons were, however, found complicit in the murders. A member of the PNDC, Joachim Amatekwe, Corporals Samuel Amedeka and Michael Senya, as well as 2 ex-soldiers, Johnny Jandu and Tony Tepo. According to the investigations, they were all sentenced to death by firing squad by the public tribunal which tried them. The sentence was carried out except for Lance Corporal Amedeka, who is said to have escaped to Lome in Togo. The cold-blooded murders of June 30, 1982 will remain a blot on Ghana's democratic credentials and a grave sin against the judiciary. Prosecutions were made, executions carried out, and the souls of these noble men and women of our country engraved in the hearts of the people. But were the wounds really healed, and have the scars sealed? Will Ghana ever recover from these unspeakable attacks? For Citi News, I am Sixtus Dong Ulo, Accra.
Now, Citi FM and Citi TV have rounded up their 3-month special coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Now, the stations, upon the onset of the disease in Ghana, created the program to provide in-depth analysis on issues surrounding the pandemic and measures by government in curbing the spread of the virus.
Now, according to the general manager of Citi FM and Citi TV, Bernard Ave, the coverage was part of the station's aim of providing daily update on the disease to inform decision-making.
To provide an in-depth analysis and a breakdown of the issues on coronavirus in Ghana to the understanding of the general public, Citi FM and Citi TV introduced a special coverage on COVID-19.
Here's a new disease. We all don't understand it, and it's leading to serious decisions, border closures, social distancing, lockdown. We quickly had to educate ourselves on what we knew about it, form a COVID-19, I won't call it special team, but there was a team that was intensely focused on this. And we felt we needed to create special programs to give people a daily update on COVID-19. So we had the 3 to 4 p.m. radio and TV, same slot program, where we had our internal team updating on the latest COVID numbers and also comparing to other countries in Africa and the world, and also trying to track what those numbers meant.
The coverage is an hour daily TV and radio show that updates audience on the latest with the disease and give incisive analysis from the station's specially created COVID-19 coverage desk involving Kojo Akotobuaten, Godfred Akotobuafo, Selom Adonu, Ebenezer Afeyin-Dazi, and the CEO, Samuel Atamensa.
From the onset, people depended on the Johns Hopkins map or the data. We replicated something similar for Ghana, which is on our website, so you can, this is a similar dashboard. And then we also invested in infographics that could give you real-time data and interactive information, which helped people to appreciate. We also did the COVID-19 help guide, which also informed people as to what the virus is, what you must know and everything. We are not done. The show may be off radio or TV, but our regular updates on our various digital platforms will continue.
The stations also set aside over 2 hours of airtime a week to provide live coverage of the Ministry of Information's COVID-19 briefings, documentaries, and features. According to management, although the show will end by June 30, it will be assimilated into other programs of the stations to provide constant updates on the virus to both listeners and viewers.
COVID is every day. Even on the Citi Breakfast Show, there will definitely be COVID stories to do. In our news, there will be COVID stories on Point of View, TV, face-to-face, and on CNR. There will always be COVID stories. So we're basically weaving COVID into our regular programming now. Don't forget that we are about 6 months, if not less, to an election. Therefore, we have to also prioritize other angles of coverage.
Well, for 3 months,
yes, it's ended.
I know.
A lot of people are sad that when it's 3 o'clock, they only hear, Citi FM or watch Citi TV giving the update on the pandemic. It's quite sad for a lot of people. And if you watch Vivian today on the last show, she read a text message from a man who said, "Oh, I'm so sad that you're ending. Tell me it's not true."
I know. I mean, for me, watching for the past 3 months, the key thing is that it helped with awareness creation to deal with stigmatization. Apart from the education in general, the facts, the figures, the reiteration of the protocols people were supposed to adhere to. The most important thing was that we educated, we raised awareness, heightening attention around COVID-19, and possibly dealt with issues of stigma.
And for me, anytime I missed any update on COVID-19, I just had to listen to that show at 3 o'clock. On Citi FM and watch it 3 p.m. on Citi TV, and I knew that I had the whole package.
Yes,
I can go home and
yes,
and then if someone asks me, "Pearl, what happened today?" I can tell them this is what happened.
Well, the good thing is that it hasn't indeed ended.
No, we haven't ended. Yeah. Of course, daily update on CNR, also on all our major news bulletins, both on radio and of course on television,
online as well.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Citi Newsroom. Do remember that our website, citinewsroom.com, has more information on our top stories and more.
Do subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV.
Download the Citi Newsroom app from the Google Play Store, the App Store, and keep updated on the go.
You can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel.